Did it shut off my... I guess that shut off my intro. Hello, Jeanette. How are you? I think my intro just messed up and it cut off for some reason. Anyway, so welcome to the podcast. We're waiting for some people to get in here. And hi, Mandy. Okay. How's everybody doing? I'm waiting for some people to get in here. They better be in here tonight because tonight's shit was requested for the serial killers. It was requested for tonight, and I know a couple people told me they weren't going to be able to make it in tonight. But you know, sometimes on Friday nights people aren't able to make it. So I don't know. So, but how's everybody doing? How was your day, Jeanette and Mandy? Hi, Angie. How are you doing, Angie? I got your emails that you sent me. But I have not been to where I was able to write them down. So we're just going to have to do the ones that I had down already. But you can tell us about them too, Angie. Yeah. Well, hello, Atlantic Ghost Hunters. How are you? I don't feel like a ghost hunter anymore because it's been a while since I've been ghost hunting. But now that it's starting to cool off, guess what? Ghost hunting's back on here soon. Less bugs, and I won't be sweating to death. Hi, Missy. You had a long day at work? I've had a very long day off because I worked all day. So I'm adding a deck onto my house. And I've been literally working all day and lifting these 4x4s by 10s and 4x4 by 12s and 2x6 by 10s and 12s. And my back is shot. And I'm be doing it all over again tomorrow. So I'm tired. My carpal tunnel, that's why I'm wearing my thing, because my carpal tunnel is it's bothered today. Hi, Sonia. How you doing? So tonight's serial killers was requested. And I got some really nasty, really nasty guys and girls to talk about. And, you know, I'm telling you. Hey, Mountain Central Elevators, how you doing? We're just going to be talking around some serial killers. And believe me, if y'all know of any, go ahead and put them in the comments. Go ahead, talk about them. I'll tell you, though, number 9 is the worst I've ever heard. And it makes Jeffrey Dahmer look like nothing. Okay? I never thought I would be able to say that Jeffrey Dahmer looked mild. But to this guy, I'm telling you, I ain't never heard of nothing like that before. So we're going to get started. Most of these, I think you guys know. Some maybe not, because I went back kind of far. I don't know. There's some fucked up people in this world, and I'm sure y'all know this already. So we're going to start this out with Ed Gein. I'm sure y'all know who Ed Gein is, right? Does everybody know who Ed Gein is? Okay, so he was Edward Theodore Gein. He was also known as the Butcher of Plainfield, the American serial murderer and or body snatcher. So he grew up and had an abusive childhood. He had an alcoholic dad and a psychotic mom. Hi, Haley. How are you? He turned apart. You guys know who Ed Gein is. Don't you remember the movie Psycho? Psycho. Y'all know the movie Psycho. He's the one that they made the movie Psycho out of. Hey, Spirit Stalker. So anyway, he turned his part of his house into a shrine dedicated to his mom. Police found numerous exhumed corpses and found that he made trophies out of bones and skin. Yeah, Norman Bates. Okay, so but his real name is really Ed Gein, is who they made the movie out of, but based on. Yes, he was born in 1906 and he died July 26, 1984. I think so. He inspired the movie Psycho, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and The Silence of the Lambs. So those three movies were made for him, basically. In 1957, police found that Gein robbed graves and collected body parts, which he used to make clothes, masks, and household items. Yes, that is the one. Yes. They also found the head of Mary Hogan, who had gone missing in 1954. Ed Gein's mom was very abusive, but he idolized her. He had an older brother, Henry, but in 1944, Gein reported his brother missing, but it's believed that Gein murdered him because of jealousy. Mom died in 1945 and he became a hermit. In 1957, Bernice Worden went missing, but Gein had been seen with her earlier that day. Police went to Gein's house where they found her body, which had been fatally shot and decapitated. He admitted the murders and said they looked like his mother. He was found insane and guilty, but went to a mental hospital where he stayed until he died in 1984. So he was, but yeah, those three movies, he's the one that those three movies were based off of. The next one, okay, so her name is Belle Sorensen Gunnis. She was also named Lady Bluebird. She was born in 1859 and she died. When did she die? I don't know when she died. Maybe it's in here. We'll get to that. Okay, she was the youngest of 8 children. She moved to America in 1881 and married Mads Sorensen and opened up a candy shop that was unsuccessful, and it burnt down a year after they opened. So the couple took the insurance money and bought a house. She had 4 children with Mads, which was Caroline, Axel, Murder, and the youngest, Lucy. Those are 4 children. Suspiciously, the 2 older children die from an illness, but they just happened to be insured, and the couple got that money as well. In July of 1900, her hubby died, and he was also insured. Like, how did all these people just end up to be insured? So she collected that money too. She claims that Mads had heart problems, so no autopsy was done. So with that money she got, she moved to LaPorte, Indiana, where she met and married Peter Guns in 1902. A week later, Peter's child died, and a little later, Peter died too. She gained $3,000 each from them. So $6,000 she got from Peter and his child dying. I guess they were insured, I'm assuming. In 1903, she gave birth to a boy, Philip. 3 years later, she told people that her daughter went to college, but later revealed that that wasn't true. So it's possible up to 42 murders, but only 13 were confirmed. She went on to marry several more times and mysterious deaths to every one of them, their kids, her kids, all of them. And she just kept collecting the insurance money. Nobody's ever investigated that. Nothing. She went missing in 1931, and she continued assuming different people's identifications. So she would take, okay, so how do I explain that? She went missing, but she kept taking other people's identifications of the people that she murdered. Right? Okay. She was never positively identified, and a lady was arrested for poisoning a man, and 2 people who knew her claimed it was her, but was never sure. She died while awaiting trial. So they arrested her, but she was claiming she was somebody else. But 2 people that knew her from the past claims, yeah, that's her. But it was never confirmed. So, but that lady died while awaiting trial. And I don't know what year that was. I have no clue what year that was. Now, I've heard so many times that people with the insurance money, but you would think if it was happening, how can one person have that many people dying around her and nobody investigate that? Like, doesn't that look weird? Okay, hold on a minute. Now, her 2 oldest children happened to be insured. Then her husband, the new husband, the husband's child. Really? And all of them just happened to be insured. Like, really? Really? Okay. So the next one is the Green River Killer. His name was Gary Ridgway. He was only confirmed 48 murders, but he claims over 80 women. He was born in 1949, and he is currently still alive, and he's 74 years old. He grew up in Washington State. His dad was a bus driver, and his mom was a sales clerk. Ridgway claimed that his mom molested him his whole childhood. He would wet the bed well into his teens, and his mom would wash him. He always thought that was normal, so he began fantasizing about her. He had fantasized about having sex with his mama, and he's fantasized about killing his mama, but he stabbed a boy instead. He served 2 years in the Navy. Over the next 30 years, he married 3 times, and he had a son. He didn't start his killing spree until the 80s. Let me get rid of that this thing. Oh, it's gone. Okay. He killed mostly prostitutes. His last murder was in 1998. In 2003, he admitted to killing over 80 sex workers, but accepted a plea deal where he only was sentenced to only 48 life sentences without parole. He agreed and told them the locations of the 48 women. Yeah. So I guess that's a deal. That's a plea deal of I'm claiming 80 women, so I can only get 48 life sentences. Is that a deal? I don't know. It just says he grew up in Washington State. Now, I don't know where the murders took place. It doesn't say. I don't know. Wherever the Green River is, Green River Killer is what he was known as. So I'm assuming that's, oh no. Okay, so the Night Stalker, I think everybody knows about Richard Ramirez, right? Everybody knows Richard Ramirez. I think he's one of the he was born in 60 and died in 2013. He was 24 when he committed his first murder. And within 2 years, he was up to 24 murders and 11 rapes. Oh, there was, okay. Shit. Okay. At age 13, he watched his cousin, Miguel Ramirez, shoot and kill his own wife during an argument. He watched him behead her, and Richard actually was taking the pictures of it. His cousin was found not guilty by reason of insanity and was released after only 4 years. This would fuck him up. Richard's first murder is believed to be a 9-year-old girl. In the 80s, Ramirez were murdering people at the same time and same location as the Hillside Strangler. They had very similar murder traits. When they caught the Hillside Strangler, who admitted to only 10 murders, the murders was continued and they realized there was another murderer out there. So they thought all these murders. I wonder if he killed 7-year-old Erica Botello in San Antonio. I think he was suspected. This guy, Richard Ramirez? I don't know. Hold on. There's still more. So let me get there. Okay, so they thought it was the Hillside Strangler. But when they caught him, the murders kept going. So they realized there was 2. Ramirez would actually enter people's homes through unlocked doors and windows. He killed men, women, and children and didn't care how old they were. He raped them and would make others watch. He started getting careless. He was leaving shoe prints. He would stop and draw the upside down pentagram and dust on the car windows. He beat one girl with a tire iron, but she survived. She gave a full description of him, and he even said, "Don't look at me," during the rape. They eventually found his stolen car, and a dentist's card was found inside this stolen car. That's how they ended up with a capture. Someone who knew him came forward and said they knew the guy as Richard Ramirez. He had only been arrested before for grand theft and some petty theft. They took his booking photo, and he was positively identified by some of his victims that survived. I do remember that part of it where they had undercover people sitting in the dentist's office waiting for him to come back to try to get like something fixed or something. And I can't remember if he ended up going back or that's how they made the arrest or what, but apparently it all came back to being in a dentist's office because of that card that was found in the stolen vehicle. I don't know. He was convicted of 13 counts of murder, 5 attempted murders, 11 rapes, and 14 burglaries. He was sentenced to 19 death penalties. He died in prison from B-cell lymphoma while awaiting execution. So I guess he was on death row. I think if you guys Googled him, Richard Ramirez, he would look familiar to y'all. I remember a little bit of that. So this next guy, okay, so he was known as Dr. Death. His name was Harold Shipman, born in 1946 and died in 2004. He was an English doctor with over 250 victims. His first victim was in 1975 at the Donnybrook House Group Practice. He killed another 71 patients while employed there. He was caught in 1998 because he forged someone's will, and the daughter of that victim reported him. It was found out that he would inject his patients with a lethal dose of morphine and would sign the death certificate even before the actual death. Once he was reported, they looked at her mysterious death. They started investigating all of his prior patients and his prior employee jobs. He was convicted of only 15 counts of murder and was sentenced to life in prison. It was later found that he had over 250 victims. 171 of those were female, 44 males, and the rest were children. He was found dead hanging in his cell on a Tuesday in 2004. So I know you guys have heard of Dr. Kevorkian. So it was kind of like that, I guess. Kevorkian would help people. What was his saying? That he was, they came to him and wanted to commit suicide. So he was just kind of helping them because they were terminal. Isn't that what Kevorkian would say about that? This guy, they weren't asking for it, though. He just did it. He just did it. Whether they wanted it or not, I guess. I don't know. These people are fucking sick. Okay. This next guy, his name is Pedro Alonso Lopez. He's also known as the Monster of the Andes. He was born in October of 1948, and he is still alive today. He is known to have murdered and raped over 300 people. From 1969 to 1980, Lopez killed up to 300 people. In the 70s, a number of young girls went missing across Colombia. One day, a group of Ayachuco's people witnessed a near kidnapping of a 9-year-old girl from their tribe. The tribe members caught him, beat him, stripped him as was going to bury him alive so he would die a slow death to pay him back for trying to kidnap their child. Well, an American missionary happened to see this happening and convinced the tribe's people to report Lopez to the police. So they didn't arrest him, but they banned him from their country. So he was free and ended up brutally raping and murdered as many as 300 children. So he was captured in Ecuador in 1980 and was sentenced to 16 years, but was let out early for good behavior in 1994. Bad mistake. Okay, so he was number 7 in 13 children. He was raised with abuse and chaos, which is no excuse because once you're an adult, you know right from wrong, as far as I'm concerned. It said he was a kind and quiet child that wanted to be a teacher. But he was molested by one of his teachers at age 12. He then ran away and grew up on the streets. Now, his mom was a prostitute, and he hated all prostitutes. So he would go out with the intent of murder. So he would dig their grave ahead of time. He would bring them home, brutally rape them, kill them, snuggle their dead bodies, then bury them at daylight. If the women had children, he would rape them and kill them first while making their moms watch. And then he would murder their mom and bury them together. Are you? Well, it's nice to know that you're there, trauma. So he was eventually seen taking a 10-year-old, and he was followed, and he led them to these mass graves. This was only 2 years after he was let go on good behavior. Hey, Justin. It's okay. It's okay. We're talking about serial killers. So you ain't missed much because there's worse. They just keep getting worse and worse. Anyway, his location was reported and then he went missing. So he was never been found and is still at large to this day. He's never been caught. So yeah, this guy, Pedro Alonso Lopez, is still at large if he's alive. Okay, so everybody knows my next one. Ted Bundy. Everybody knows Ted Bundy. He was born in 1946 and died in 1989. So he kidnapped, raped, and murdered dozens of young women and girls. Everybody knows him. He confessed to 30 murders in 7 states between 74 and 78. His complete total is unknown. He denied all of it until the day before his execution. He was handsome, so he charmed these girls into his vehicle, but then he would cut them off, or cuff them, excuse me. He would cuff them. He would often keep them hostage and would rape them repeatedly, but then brutally beat them, kill them, and would then perform sexual acts on the corpses. He was eventually found and arrested. He escaped, though. He escaped twice. Twice, this guy. His final murder was Kimberly Leach from Florida, which is only 30 minutes from me, and was executed. He was diagnosed as a sadistic sociopath who took pleasure in others' pain. Like, that's no shit. Yeah, he was. He was very slippery. The first time he, the first time he escaped, it was, so he was like an attorney. He was in law school and a politician. And he was representing himself in court. And this officer took him to the library where he could use a phone and research for his trial. And he jumped out the damn window because the officer supposed to be watching him was in there flirting with some chick. Mm-hmm. And then he looked in there and the window was out, and then so I think he was only gone for about a week during that escape. Oh, I can't remember how long it was, though. He escaped again out of his prison cell. And he was gone for 3 months, I think. And that's when he got Kimberly Leach. So he was in law school. He was really smart, handsome, grew up in a happy home to a single mom. And he never knew who his dad was. He never knew. His dad left I guess before he was born or right after, but he never met his dad, didn't know who his dad was. His mom never, I don't know if they never asked or what. Yeah. Oh gosh, I'm thirsty. So I just know that he was in complete denial for all these years. He was in prison and escaped, and then like, who's going to believe you're not guilty after you do an escape like that? First of all, and then you still want people to believe you after you escape. Why would you even escape if you're not fucking guilty at something? Whatever. So I've been to the location where he was arrested the last time after Kimberly Leach. I've been to Kimberly Leach's gravesite, and I have seen the property where Kimberly Leach's body was found. She was found inside of a it was like a shed type thing in a pig pen, but it was, anyway, they've since cleared all that out. But I've seen the property because I've been there. So the next one, moving on, is Jack the Ripper. Now, everybody's heard of Jack the Ripper, right? Right? Everybody's heard of Jack the Ripper. Yes, we went there with Patty. Yep, me and Patty went. But nobody has seen Jack the Ripper because he is still to this day an unknown killer. Now, he was also called the Whitechapel murderer. Now, they do believe that they identified who he is, but couldn't prove it. Other than, I'll get there. They called him Jack the Ripper because of a letter that was received at the police department in which the writer claimed to be the killer and signed it Jack the Ripper. Later on, there was a shawl found with forensic stains on it. DNA showed a 23-year-old man named Aaron Kosminski to be the killer. He was just a barber from Poland. It's unknown of the exact number of victims since he was unknown. But once the DNA was found, they can prove at least 14. This was back in 1888 and 1899, so investigation was a lot different back then. He was committing about 2, sometimes 3 murders a month. He would beat them, then butcher their abdomens, leaving their insides outside of their body. They would slice their throats, and they were all known prostitutes except one. Yes. Yep, from 1888 and 1889. Now, I just think that's pretty gross. Now, it's okay. I've even said this even last week. I said number 9 on my list. You might, this is the worst one, Mandy. Okay. Number 9 is the worst serial killer I've ever fucking heard of. This is the one that I said I feel makes Jeffrey Dahmer look mild. This next one is the worst I've ever fucking heard. So get prepared, y'all. This is y'all's request. So get ready. He's known as the Brooklyn Vampire. Look it up. You can look it up if you want to. His name is Albert Fish. I don't know if y'all have heard of him, but he's about to. He was born in 1870 and he died in 1936. He's known as a rapist, a child molester, and a cannibal. He claims he ate 3 children between 1924 and 1928. He claims he's murdered over 100 people and said he has eaten a child from every state. That's He was caught and executed by the electric chair in 1936 at age 65. He was diagnosed with schizophrenia. Mental illness ran in his family. He was the youngest of 4. Jesus Christ, I'm the baby of 4. One of his brothers was in a state mental hospital. His sister with mental affliction. And his other brother was also a schizophrenic. This guy became a male prostitute at 20 years old. He began molesting and raping boys, mostly under 6 years old. Oh, this ain't nothing. This ain't nothing yet. He goes in detail. I'm going to read it to you. I was sick to my stomach just writing this down. In 1910, he was in a sadomasochistic, I hope I said that correctly, sadomasochistic relationship with a guy named Tom Bedden, or Better. I can't even read my handwriting. He loved Tom, but he tortured Tom. He sliced his penis in half. And he said he'll never forget the way he looked at him while he screamed. Oh, this ain't nothing. This ain't nothing. Get ready. He was greatly aroused by the slicing of the penis. He was going to kill Tom, but because he loved him, he instead put peroxide on his penis, wrapped it in a Vaseline-covered hanky, left a $10 bill there, and then he kissed Tom goodbye and left. Then he met John. John and him were in this long relationship. John, he embedded needles into his groin and abdomen. There was an x-ray done of John, and there were 29 needles in there. He would spank him repeatedly with a nail-studded paddle and inserted wool covered with lighter fluid into his anus and light it. His name is Albert Fish. He's also known as the Brooklyn Vampire. Sky, tonight it's about serial killers. This is the worst serial killer I've ever heard in my entire life. And I'm 52. Y'all still ain't heard nothing yet. This is the one right here. He kidnapped a 3-year-old Billy Gaffney. 3 years old. 3. He kidnapped. Okay, so Mr. Fish was arrested from John. Okay. He was arrested from John. It was after he was arrested is when they told him. He told them what he did to this kid. He's the one that told them, hey, I kidnapped this 3-year-old named Billy. Okay. What I'm getting ready to tell you is what he told the police. So y'all just prepare yourselves. Don't get mad at me. Y'all requested this. He was captured, and then he told them the story of what he did to him. Oh, God, I'm even out of breath. Okay. He took a belt and beat him till blood ran down the back of his legs. He cut off his ears, his nose, and slit his mouth from ear to ear, and then gouged out his eyes. He died during that part. He said that he died during the eye gouging. He then stuck the knife in his belly and drank his blood. He put his nose, ears, and a few slices of his belly, his penis, in a little fat in a stew with onions, carrots, turnips, celery, salt, and pepper. He cut off his feet, his hands, his head, and put them in potato sacks with stones and dropped them in the bottom of the pool. He then spread his butt cheeks, put a piece of bacon on each cheek, and put it in the oven. He says he threw his balls in the toilet because they were too chewy, but said it was one of the most fantastic meals he ever had and lasted him about 4 days. Now, if you can hear that and tell me that that don't make Jeffrey Dahmer look like nothing, something wrong with you. Okay. This is the worst I have ever fucking heard for somebody to go in detail about what they did and not care. Fuck. That is the worst. Oh, God. I agree with you, Sky. They need to, I feel like they need to die the same way they put these others. That you know what I'm saying. Jeffrey Dahmer's still a messed up fucker. But this guy, I think Jeffrey Dahmer just wanted to be like him, and he wasn't even close. I was nauseous writing it, and there was more in there. There was more. Like, he was talking about the shit he did to other people, and I cut it down. Like, I cut this down. Like, y'all don't understand how fucked up this guy was. Google him. Albert Fish. Google it. I ain't joking. And you'll see the Billy Gaffney under him and read what he did. You see? Y'all think I'm making this up? Never. Let's move on, shall we? That could make me lose lunch for like a week. Okay, so the next one is Edmund Kemper. He was born in 1848, but apparently he's still alive. His murders started in 1964 at 15. He killed his own grandparents, saying, I just wanted to see what it felt like to kill grandma. He did 5 years and was released in 1969. I know. Listen, I was fucked up, Spirit Stalker, the other day when I was doing the research for this and came across that because I had never heard of that guy before. I have never heard of the Brooklyn Vampire. I'm sorry that I have heard of the Brooklyn Vampire, and I wish I hadn't. See what I do for y'all. Y'all requested serial killers, and y'all see what I do for y'all. Telling you. Okay, so in California, he raped, murdered, and desecrated 8 women. One of his victims was his own mother, who he bludgeoned to death with a claw hammer before defiling her severed head. He actually turned himself in and got life in prison, where he remains today. Hey, Rick. Yes. Could you imagine though? Like they never found his body. And I wonder why. And it even said in there that they never found the kid. Well, I wonder why. There was nothing left. He told them, hey, it was this kid. Y'all aren't going to find him, but this is what I did to him. Imagine being that fucking parents. Hearing what he did to your kid. No. No, Spirit Stalker. 2 weeks ago, people in all the comments, people were requesting serial killers. I wasn't even kidding. I think Trauma Diva was live with me that night. That the serial y'all just was whoever it was, Uncle Junior and a couple others was. Oh no, we want serial killers. So here it is. Guy, I think in the 40s or 50s, not sure of his name, that murdered people, and he would make stuff out of their bodies. Yeah, I covered him already, Justin. He is, that was Ed Gein. And that is the movies, the Psycho, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and Silence of the Lambs was inspired by him. Was it Junior and Fluffy's? And they're not here. You notice that? You notice the ones that requested the serial killers ain't here? Those shitters. Anyway, we covered Ed Gein. Yes. So, yeah. So he's the one that the movie Psycho. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. He was number 1 on the list. I could have done, worst to not worst. You can't decipher which is worse. You know what I mean? But to me, number 9 is just the absolute worst to me. I'm sorry. Number 9 was just, that's the fucking worst I've ever heard. The worst. If y'all disagree, please tell me one that's worse than that. What I just... Yeah, they better watch later. The 2 that requested it is not here. That burns my booty. Okay, so born in, if he was born, he was born in 1948. Okay, Edmund Kemper. Okay. So yeah, he's still alive today. I don't know how old that makes him, but born in 1948. So maybe in his 70s, is it? Number 9. Oh, did you hear number 9, Justin? I hadn't heard of him before. I had not heard of him. And I'm glad that I didn't. But now that I have, he makes all these other murderers nothing to me. It's 75. Thank you. Because I'm not good with math in my head. Now, the next one I have is Jeffrey Dahmer. And we all know who Jeffrey Dahmer is, the one that don't look like shit now. Born in 1960, died in 1994. He was also known as the Milwaukee Cannibal. And I know he admitted to cooking them up and eating them. And he cut their heads off and put them in the freezer. I get that. But to go in detail about onions and carrots and turnips and salt and pepper, come on. Anyway, he killed and dismembered 17 men between 1978 and 1991. He even ate them. He would keep the heads of the victims in the fridge. He was tested and found to be sane starting at a young age. He started killing animals. He would nail the animals to the tree and put their skulls on a stick. They moved to Ohio. He went to college, dropped out, and then he went into the army. He was deployed to West Germany and worked as a combat medic. He was actually considered an above average soldier. People thought he was super handsome too. Ew, I didn't think so. I don't get it. He was discharged in 1981 due to excessive drinking. In 1991, a man escaped him and led police to his residence. There was a foul odor and bottles of hydrochloric acid on the floor. He ended up confessing after 60 hours of questioning. He went into detail of what he did to each victim and said it was towards his last few that he started to eat. He went into detail of how he cut them up, how he tenderized it, and even stated which spices he used, but says he regrets not eating them sooner because he didn't realize how addicting it was. On 11/28/1994, Dahmer was left unsupervised in the prison gym, and other inmates beat Dahmer to his death with dumbbells at 8:10 a.m. Yes, Sky. I think people that harm animals end up just fucked up because, I mean, that's the most. They're the most. They don't talk back. They're just such a harmless thing for people to do such terrible things to, and that to me says a lot about somebody. And I wouldn't have anything to do with them. Yeah, I heard when Jeffrey Dahmer died. I heard about it. Yes, agreed. I can't even listen. Like I've been a police officer for 23 years, and I've had to run lights and sirens to an emergency, and I've had a fucking raccoon, and I've had what the hell are they called? Damn it, I see them right in my head. They have the hard shell that turns into a roly-poly. What the heck is that? What's the animal? They're so cute with the y'all know what I'm talking about? What is that animal? Charles Starkweather and his girlfriend Carol killed armadillo. Yeah, I had to hit one of them one time, and I was upset. Oh my god, I was like so upset. If I hit an animal, I get so upset. I've accidentally hit him in my car. It just tears me up. I can't stand it when, yes, it is an armadillo. That's what I was thinking of. I won't date anyone who hunts. I can't hurt an animal. Now, if something was out here and they were hurting my pigs, let me tell you something. All right. If there's a bear or a dog or something going to injure my animals, I'm going to kill it. I'll feel bad later, but I'm going to protect my babies, and there's no stopping me. My babies are my number one. That's my children, and I'm going to protect them all day long. Thank you. Thank you. I'm the same exact way. I sure the fuck will kill it, and I will be upset later about it, but I'm going to protect my children. And that's just the way that is. And if people don't like the way that I am, fuck off. My pigs are my children. Mm-hmm. Speaking of pigs, don't forget. I have to bring that up at the end of the. Anyway, let me get through this. The next one is the BTK killer. Everybody knows who this one. His name is Dennis Rader. He was known as the BTK. Everybody know him, right? The bind, torture, kill. Okay, he had a 17 years killing spree in Wichita, Kansas. Another one that started young with torturing animals. He's linked to at least 10 murders, but there are a lot more that haven't been proven. He was born in 45, but he's currently 78. He led a normal life. He joined the Air Force and was married to Paula. He even had kids. In 1974, he worked as a security guard. That's also the year of his first kill. He actually took credit for his victim by leaving a note in the book in a public library and asking to be called BTK. He kept killing and then started sending poems to the newspaper about his victims. He even called the police department to rub their noses in it. In 1991, the killings all of a sudden stopped, and there wasn't another killing until 2004. He emerged again, started sending clues and pics to the police. He even left them a computer disk, which led them to his church, his daughter, and his van. That led to his arrest in 2005. He was charged with 10 murders and was given 10 life sentences. And I meant to go back here and read what Angie put. Okay. Charles Starkweather, 19, and his girlfriend, Carol Fugate, 14, killed 11 people in approximately 2 weeks in 57. New England. Okay. Starkweather killed store clerk for a birthday gift for Carol. Carol's mother and stepfather threw him out of the house and advised him he could not see her. He came back with shotgun, killed the father with oh my God, killed him. 2-year-old. Oh my God. Girl. So hey, Terry. That, Angie, that sounds like Bonnie and Clyde almost. What is that movie? Natural Born Killers. Remember that? That's kind of sounds like them. Because wasn't the Natural Born isn't that movie an actual true story? Isn't it? Didn't I hear that that's actually a true story that they were Oh, it was the inspiration. Okay, all right. Excuse me, I'm parched. Okay, yeah, I was going to say, God, that sounds familiar. Okay. I liked the movie. I love those two that played in that movie. All right. How many do I have left here? 2. I have 2 left. Still, nothing has beat number 9. Murder in the Heartland. Really? I haven't seen that one. I love a true story. I'm going to have to watch that. Is there a movie? Oh, I think I've seen. Is that an actual movie, Justin, though? Or is that like a documentary? Because I've seen the Bonnie and Clyde documentary. Murder in the Heartland. I want to watch that now. Okay, two more. Randy Stephen Kraft. He's also known as the scorecard killer. Oh, okay. Well, I've seen the documentary, so I didn't know there was a movie, Bonnie and Clyde. So I want to watch that. I do like the movie Natural Born Killers. Okay, so Randy Stephen Kraft, he was born in 1945. He's still alive today. Faye Dunaway plays. Okay. I like Faye Dunaway. He drugged, raped, tortured, and murdered 16 young men between 1972 and 1983. Okay, so he went to a men's college before he joined the Air Force before being medically discharged. Faye Dunaway played Bonnie, but didn't Faye Dunaway play? She plays a good psycho because didn't she play Mommy in Mommy's Dearest? Wasn't that Faye Dunaway that played Mommy? Wasn't it? Or am I wrong? Wasn't it? Or was that not Faye? I swear that's Faye Dunaway. No. Who was it that played Mommy? Somebody? Anybody? Just type it in when you get. Anyway, his first kill was in 1970, and it's believed he murdered 67 people, but only 16 can be proven. Due to some injuries, he became addicted to pain pills and tranquilizers. Joan Crawford, that was Mommy. Okay, my bad. All right, that was my mistake. I was thinking Faye Dunaway was played Mommy, but no. Okay, Joan Crawford. Yep. Yes, I am on my podcast. If you click my YouTube link in my bio, it'll bring you right into my podcast. Okay, so yeah, Joan Crawford. Okay, that's my bad. It finally came out that he was gay and was disowned by his family, which is where the alcohol started on top of the meds. So he was caught because he was pulled over for drunk driving. And when he got out of the car, his pants were down and about 50 Polaroid pictures fell to the ground. They were all of young boys who appeared to be unconscious or dead. They also found a mysterious list with 61 messages inside of a suitcase, along with a list of the ones that were victims already. That ended up being the scorecard. So that's how he became the scorecard murderer. The scorecard killer is what he was called. Yeah. And so that's how the scorecard came about. Warren Beatty played Clyde and Faye Dunaway. That's a good duo. I bet I'm going to look that movie up. And Murder in the Heartland. I want to watch both of those. Anyway, Kraft was found guilty of 12 of the 16 and was put to death in 2000. Now, I did not see how he was put to death. I don't know if it was electric chair. I'm thinking that back then it was the electric chair. I don't think they had the needle yet. And right? Oh no, he's still alive, apparently, still in prison. Okay. My bad again. Gene Hackman was in the movie. Huh. That sounds like a really good cast. Like all-star cast. Wasn't she married to Peter Wolf? Faye Dunaway was married to Peter Wolf or Joan Crawford? I couldn't tell you who Faye Dunaway or Joan Crawford was married to. I couldn't tell you. Anyway, I've got one more. One more. Last one. Still nothing has beat number 9. Number 9 is the fucking worst of the worst. This last one is called Anthony Lorette. He was born in 1951 and died in 1995. He was only convicted and admitted to 1 murder. Oh, Faye Dunaway. I couldn't tell you. I'd have to Google that shit. I Google everything. He admitted and was convicted of only 1 murder, but later on he confessed to 31 more in 11 different states. So his murder started in the Florida Keys. How about that? But was eventually caught because Mary Fleming, an 18-year-old victim that survived, turned him in. He attempted to rape her, but then he was unsuccessful, so he stabbed her twice in the chest and slit her throat, but she got loose and ran to the neighbor's house. After she gave a full description and vehicle, she collapsed and passed away. Isn't that just good timing? He made his confessions on the day he was to be executed on 11/29/95. He had served 15 years. His last meal was a steak, shrimp, baked potato, fried mushrooms, onion rings, and 2 cans of Coke. He was executed by lethal injection. He apologized to his family and his victim's family before he died. At that point, I really don't think I would give a fuck about apology. I mean, would you? I can't say that I would give a fuck if I got an apology or not. If I don't know. I just don't think I'd care. But that's all I've got. Cult murderer in Rilla, Nebraska made father of 5-year-old shoot and beat stomp boy. Oh my God. A follower who wanted to leave was shot in the face with shotgun, still alive, beaten, made to have sex. Oh my God. The skin removed from our. Oh my God. No. Oh, God almighty. Is that one of them that you emailed me, Angie? Because that's terrible. Oh. Get out of here. Oh. That was 40 miles from where you grew up. Holy shit. It's a good thing you didn't actually know them then. That's good that you didn't know them. That's just, people are just, oops, I almost turned that over. People are sick fucks. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I just read a whole bunch of sick shit. Okay. But that number 9 to me has been the absolute worst I've ever heard. And there's, like Angie, I'm glad I'm growing up in what's the word I'm looking for? Like when I'm glad I'm growing up when I'm growing up. Like I wouldn't have been able to tolerate it back then. I couldn't find it in my heart to be sick to people like that or animals. I am the biggest animal lover. I don't, my babies are my children. I got my fucking pig is laying right there in my bed sleeping, waiting for me to come to bed. Okay. My animals are my children. And if somebody fucks with them, that's when they're going to get shot. Okay. Straight bullet to the head, in your face. Don't fuck with me or my family. That's all I can tell you. That's just the way it's going to happen. Other than that, I couldn't hurt an animal. I couldn't hurt a person. I don't have it in my heart to do so. I'm a cop for 23 years, so I will go to work and do what I'm trained to do. But I could not be like these people. They're just, and they can't all blame it on their childhood. Yes, okay, some of them grew up fucked up. I understand that. I get it. But once you're an adult and you can make your own decisions and you grow up and you know right from wrong, that's not a fucking excuse to me. There's a guy in Springfield that kidnapped, raped, and killed a 10-year-old girl. It was all. See, that's what I'm saying. You are a grown man / woman. You know what's right and wrong. You know they're 10 years old and that's completely wrong. But you do it anyway. I'm sorry. Your childhood is no fucking an excuse to me. Ted Bundy grew up with a good childhood. He even said so himself. His mom worked hard to support him. No, he didn't know his dad, but he had a good childhood. So that's no excuse to me. You can't use your background or your childhood as an excuse to why you're fucked up in the head. I bawl my eyes out with the ass. Me too. I can't. I get upset when I see a hurt animal. I just can't. Oh, I wish I could rescue them all. I wish that I got enough donations to. Speaking of that. Okay. So everybody that has followed me for a really long time and they know that I'm a piggy rescue, had a role model of James Dean. Well, James Dean wasn't fucked up, so why would you? I don't know. I don't question these. I just don't question shit. I don't question people anymore because they're fucked up. Anywho, I'll mention it quick. If you follow us on Instagram, Pigtails Rescue, I'm Pigtails Rescue, and I do post my piggies on Pigtails Rescue. Everybody knows Trooper and Maple's story. Now, Trooper had I rescued Trooper, and his prior owner would beat him with shovels or kick him. And so they were going to take him to, be put down. And I said, don't do it. So Gainesville Animal Rescue brought him to me. And Maple had gotten here the day before, and she was very little, but those two fell in love through the fence, and Trooper never knew love before he came here, and he loves me, and I'm finally able to go in and lay down with him, and he completely trusts. He's so good with people. People come here and they can stick their fingers in his mouth, and he's just like, hi. He's the most lovable little pig now, and him and Maple. So there's going to be a Trooper and Maple wedding. So I hope everyone will follow Pigtails Rescue, and I hope everyone will stay tuned for our Trooper and Maple wedding. I'm not sure exactly of the date yet. It's just happening. And so there's going to be a Trooper and Maple wedding. So we just don't know when it's going to be. I got to figure out what's going on, and hopefully it'll get us some donations coming in. So that's the only thing new that's been going on. I will be on again. Let's see, what is today? I go back to midnights on Monday, so I will be able to be on a little more often than when I'm on day shift. So Monday, Tuesday I work. So Wednesday night and possibly Thursday night, I will be having a podcast. So I will be on then. And I hope everyone has a wonderful weekend. And again, if you come up with any topic, funny or not funny, send me a message and let me know the topic. And I will do my research and have it. And I'll even have you as a guest if you come up with the topic. So I will end here. I'm going to be live on Clapper for not very much longer because, again, I'm hurting. My back hurts and I'm sleepy. So I'm going to bed soon. So have a wonderful weekend, everybody.